out there, and we really appreciate your time. Okay, why? Firstly, I guess, did I agree to become the brand ambassador of such a program is because, well, it ticks so many boxes for me. Number one is, well, I've always been very passionate about racing. I mean, a lot of people might have, anyone who's followed the page will know that I've done it since BIOS Cup. I've been a passionate F1 viewer myself. Of course, I covered cars. I've covered F1. I did that series for about 3 or 4 years where I would travel around and report on it. And it was always my dream to see a Filipino race car driver. And I really went and followed the journey. I remember Marlon Stockinger all the way through till his first F1 test drive. I went with him to France when he got inside the car and got to do that test, got part of the Lotus Junior F1 team, came back over here. We had a road show. There's a point to all of this, by the way. We had this whole big thing going on, only to see somebody as incredibly talented and gifted and good looking as Marlon Stockinger fall short. The reason I'm telling you this story is because there's so many different moving parts that need to come together for you to be able to even get just a shot. Now, even with all those resources, Marlon couldn't quite get where he really wanted to go. And this is a space that I think will reduce that gap dramatically, because it now democratizes a space so much. So people like you might be our next F1 driver. We don't know. You're sitting right there, but you are the future. But you may just not have the kind of accessibility. You mentioned $8 million. I don't know what team that is, but it's probably the lowest team in the bracket. Because I was just going through the finances before tomorrow, and it was way higher than that. Here's another thing. Let's just say it was $8 million to get into an F1 car. There's no guarantee you're going to be in a good car. So you can work all that way and then just be at the back of the grid. This is even, right? It's all the same. You don't have any advantage of this team has this better car, etc. It's all e-platform. Then, of course, there is the empowering the Filipino, because it goes hand in hand with this. And there's the road safety aspect. The only hard thing and difficult thing about talking about racing is sometimes people associate it with, being unsafe. Well, you take it out of that space, all of a sudden, it's back to every person has an equal chance, and safety is not a concern anymore. You mentioned coronavirus. Shanghai Grand Prix 2020, moved, if not canceled. They cannot imagine what it costs to host an F1 event. Well, they had to move that. One FC also, the One Fighting Championship, had to also, but they didn't move theirs, but what they did was quite clever and similar to what you're doing. One FC had this whole big championship. Imagine like this big card going on, and Brandon Bear is one of the biggest guys there in that series. They can't just cancel the card, or they could, but it'll cost them, I hate to think. Well, they just held it indoors, no crowd, and then they just streamed it live. So they're doing a hybrid system of but the fighter still has to go out and get punched in the face for real. So.